Since the Korean War during the 1950s, tensions have remained high between the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the DPRK, commonly known as North Korea, and the Republic of Korea, commonly known as South Korea. However, as of late, a second Korean War may be emerging. Let us look at the history of tension on the Korean Peninsula and the outbreak of tensions at different times. The Korean War was a war between the Republic of Korea, backed by the United States and the United Nations, and the DPRK, backed by the People's Republic of Cuba and the Soviet Union. It was fought from 1950 to 1953. After World War II ended in 1945, the formerly Japanese-controlled Korean Peninsula was split between the United States and the Soviet Union. The U.S. controlled the South, and the USSR controlled the North. When the two controlling countries left, the people from each side took the former type of government. The South took a right-wing government, and the North adopted communism. This led to a failure to elect a leader in 1948. By 1950, there was open warfare in the Korean Peninsula. An early North Korean offensive pushed back South Korean forces, causing 20 countries, mainly the United States, to provide intervention forces. After a hard-fought war, an armistice agreement was reached in 1953. It put a border and a buffer zone between the two Korean nations. Though this ended major combat on the peninsula, tensions have risen at various times in the following years. In 1983, a bombing in Myanmar killed 17 South Korean officials. The attack was an assassination attempt, this time on the South Korean President Chun Doo-hwan. Although he wasn't killed, many others were fatally wounded. On March 26, 2010, the ROKS Chenoan, a Republic of Korea ship carrying 104 personnel, sank off the country's west coast near an island in the Yellow Sea. 46 seamen were killed. South Korea led an official investigation carried out by a team of international experts from countries including the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, and Sweden. In May of 2010, it presented a summary of its investigation, concluding that the warship had been sunk by a North Korean torpedo. North Korean leader Kim Jong-il denied any involvement. Now, while there haven't been any direct attacks since, tensions have remained high as North Korea has conducted a series of missile tests and has denounced South Korean military actions. However, things are looking slightly better for the Korean Peninsula. Both sides have gone from trading statements about who is really ready for war to trading statements about who is really ready for dialogue, says John Delury, a professor at Seoul's Yonsei University. While there is no clear end in sight to the stressful relationship between North and South Korea, citizens on the peninsula and around the world hope that the once united nation can reach a peaceful acceptance of one another.
World leader, the world's seventh largest exporting nation.